Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So on December 29th of 2020, so 7 days before the Capitol attack, then 19-year-old Leonard Ridge of Pennsylvania posted on Snapchat and said, quote, "Shit is gonna get really bad." So he made his prediction come true because on January 6th, Ridge was seen in another video that he also posted on Snapchat. And he was walking up to the Capitol steps and he was yelling, quote, let's go, get in this bitch." He was also seen and heard in another Snapchat video yelling, quote, "America first, bitch." Ridge then tweeted out a screenshot of one of Donald Trump's tweets, which read, quote, "I am the Senate. I am the living Constitution. My power belongs to me," all caps. "I'm not leaving." And then 3 exclamation points. So Trump's tweet contained a photo taken from inside the House chamber showing Capitol Police with their weapons drawn and pointed at a window. And Ridge included his own caption over the photo. So he superimposed text over this photo, which read, quote, "You deserve to live in fear." Really nice, right? And Ridge told his followers to, quote, "Remember this day forever." Well, then on January 7th, Ridge took part in a private conversation on Snapchat, and he wrote in part, quote, "Just stormed the U.S. Capitol." And then he wrote, quote, "So epic. I have a video of me fighting riot police in the Capitol building." Then reality kind of seemed to set in a little bit for Ridge because he messaged someone else and said, quote, "Just pray that I don't get arrested by the FBI." Then he appeared to try to cover his ass. He wrote, quote, "Did not break anything or steal anything." Other than breaking the law, I guess. And, fighting cops, I guess, is better than breaking and stealing things in his mind. So Ridge couldn't help himself. He had to keep bragging, apparently, because he followed up those messages with, quote, "We bro down McConnell's door and Nancy Pelosi's door and raid the offices." Oh, Lord. Lord, we need a better education system in this country. But Ridge continued to dig that hole even deeper. On January 10th, he sent a Snapchat message and it read, quote, "I hate to say it, but the time for us to fight is here." And his text messages were basically more of the same. He wrote to people saying things like, quote, "I just made history the evening of January 6th. And, quote, "Yeah, just stormed the U.S. Capitol for the first time in U.S. history, and I was a part of it." So Ridge was arrested. He got arrested May 21st. He was charged with more than your average Trumpy bear insurrectionist. He was facing up to 20 years in prison for obstructing an official proceeding, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. Well, on October 1st, he pleaded guilty to the 1 count of knowingly entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds. Unfortunately, prosecutors dropped all other charges. But I had hope that Ridge might see some jail time. Otherwise, prosecutors would have pushed him to plead guilty to the parading charge, right? Because that's what we've been seeing. In fact, they were asking for a 45-day sentence, 45 days in prison. Ridge's attorney was, of course, requesting only probation. And before the judge made his final determination, Ridge briefly spoke in court. He said, quote, "I would like to say I'm sorry for my actions and my conduct on that day. I didn't realize the impact I could have on our country and how it would view me as a person, how it would view our country to the rest of the world. If I could do it over again, I never would have gone into that building or do the other things I did that day. So once again, this apology is mostly about him. It's mostly about how people view him, right? Not a word about how he distracted officers who could have been helping their fellow officers to prevent them from being beaten and tasered and crushed. Nothing about how his presence contributed to the over $1.5 million worth of damage to the Capitol, which we all have to pay for, right? All of us taxpayers, not just them. Anyway, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg was presiding over this case, and he cited one of Ridge's text messages prior to January 6th as a reason for his concern. The judge was referring to a text in which Ridge mentioned that they needed to stop the certification of Joe Biden's electoral college votes. So Boasberg said that while it may be true that some people just got caught up in the moment and they entered the Capitol, as a last minute thing, that was obviously not the case in regard to Ridge because he had clear intentions. He knew what he was going there to do. So Judge Boasberg said that Ridge's intention to disrupt the certification process, quote, strikes at the bedrock of our democracy, the peaceful transfer of power. You intended to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power, and that alone is a serious criminal act. He also noted that Ridge may have just been exhibiting, quote, teenage bravado when he was bragging about breaking down doors and storming the Capitol and attacking police because there hasn't been any evidence showing that he did any of those things. So it appears that he was just full of it. The judge was more concerned with what Ridge didn't say after the fact. Boasberg told him, quote, what you weren't saying afterwards was this really got out of hand. I have no idea why I went in there. This was a terrible thing. You were saying the opposite. So given your intent and your actions in the Capitol, I believe that some jail time is appropriate here. With that, the judge sentenced Ridge to 14 days in federal prison. He's actually the youngest person so far to get a prison sentence. And he was also given 1 year of probation, 100 hours of community service, and a $1,000 fine. And Ridge's attorney asked the judge to allow her client, Ridge, to serve out his sentence intermittently on the weekends, which we have seen done with some of these people. And the attorney said, this is because of work, because he has to work during the week. But the judge pointed out he works for his parents. So they're not about to fire him over this. I would even argue they're probably the reason he was there in the first place. I mean, they say conspiracy theories start in the home. No, actually, it's more like 8kun, the manosphere, which is an actual thing, you guys. If you haven't heard about it, let me know in the comments below. I can maybe do a show about it. It's terrifying. But Judge Boasberg did say that if Ridge had been older, because he's 20 years old now, he was 19 when he broke into the Capitol, but he said, if you were older, I would have given you a longer sentence. Boasberg said, quote, there are plenty of teenagers doing stupid, poorly thought out, unwise things every day, and you were one of them. If you were a few years older, I would be giving you every day that the government asked for. And then the judge wished him luck and said, quote, I expect this will be a very serious experience. I believe based on the letters I've read and what you've said, you are someone who will be leading a life that contributes to your community and your society. I trust you will do that beginning now and when you emerge from this sentence. Good luck to you on that. I don't know what was in the letters that the judge was referring to. I hope this guy was scared straight. You guys remember that show? I don't think it worked with any of those people. So we'll see if it works with Ridge. We'll keep an eye out. And if his parents weren't to blame for him being gullible enough to fall for a lifelong con artist and go to the Capitol and commit a crime, I hope they knocked some sense into him over this past year. And I hope the judge is right. I don't think 14 days in jail is going to do it. I don't think it's going to cut it. 14 days, not going to scare him. So anyway, guys, I'll let you know if I hear any more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.